What's up, y'all? Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. Today in this video, I'm going to be discussing with you guys what it's like being an esthetician. One of the most common questions I get all the time is, Layana, why did you decide to be an esthetician? What made you go into the aesthetics industry? What made you transition into beauty? So I'm just going to be giving you guys a little bit of details about my prior career and what made me get into the career I have now as an esthetician. Also, my journey, my school experience, what it's like now working in the field as an esthetician, the pros and cons of it, for example. If there's anything that I don't happen to go over that you are interested in knowing, definitely feel more than free to leave a comment below and I will get back to you. But yes, if you'd love to learn a little bit more about being an esthetician, what it's like, as well as hear a little bit about my journey, then you just keep watching. Okay, so if you have been following me for a minute, whether it's here on YouTube or on my Instagram, then you know that I am a beauty influencer. I love creating content that help other people with their beauty needs. So back like 2013, 2014, I started creating content on Instagram, helping people with like their hair, started doing some like DIY beauty, other little beauty posts and whatnot. I started having brands reach out to me. I started really growing my following and also really connecting with people and helping them with their beauty needs. I wanted to do something more hands-on, and that's what kind of led me to moving into the beauty industry. So before I even decided to be an esthetician, I was actually looking at being a lash artist. I don't even know what it was. I remember I was back in 2017. I was in the car with my man and I was telling him how I want to be a lash artist, and he was just like, what? I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. Like, I want to create lashes for people. So I started growing an interest in being a lash artist. But I do reside in the state of Virginia. In the state of Virginia, they do require that you're either a licensed cosmetologist or a licensed esthetician in order to do lash extensions. So of course I'm like, I want to make a transition into the beauty industry. I'm gonna have to get a licensure. At this time, I was actually working for a corporate company. I was actually working for that corporate company for a very long time. I left that corporate company working there 9 years to actually transition into this beauty industry. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because when I worked that corporate job, I was very comfortable. I made great money, great benefits, it was close to home, everything was very comfortable there, except it wasn't what made me happy. I really enjoyed beauty. I feel like beauty is my calling. I feel like beauty is like, me being able to uplift people and help them feel more confident through beauty, to me, is something that God has given me to bless other people with. So I take being in the beauty industry very serious, and I knew that working that corporate job was not what I was intended to do or my calling. So a lot of people were like, Layana, why do you want to leave your great corporate job to go work in the beauty industry? Because I'm like, this is what I want to do. It's what makes me happy. So again, I started trying to make moves towards going into the beauty industry. At this point, I've decided I'm not going to go to school to be a cosmetologist. I'm going to go ahead and go to school to be an esthetician. When I had first looked into being an esthetician, I was not familiar at all with everything that estheticians did. I just thought they did facials on people. That's it, I didn't even really understand the depth and how many different, even in the skincare category, how many different things there is that you can do. Being an esthetician, I'm able to do skincare, I'm able to do lashes, not only lash extensions, but lash lifts, lash tints. I'm able to wax, I'm able to do brow tinting. I mean, the abundance of the things that I'm able to do as an esthetician is what really made me decide, okay, this is where I want to go. Also in the state of Virginia, we do have two types of licensures for an esthetician, which is a basic esthetician and a master esthetician. So when I first started school, I did go in for my basic esthetician license, and I actually had no plans of doing my master's. I really just wanted to do the basic because I was like, I'm gonna get the kind of fundamentals of skincare. I'll be able to do lash extensions, I'll be able to do waxing. That was really my mindset when I first decided to go into aesthetics school. Now, when I had decided to make the transition into aesthetic school, of course, I had to make sure that everything was lined up, everything was proper, because again, this job that I was at, I've already been there 9 years and I'm getting ready to leave them to go into a completely different field, And they knew, I mean, they all knew, people at my job knew I loved beauty, knew I did content and whatnot, but I don't think they ever thought that I was gonna leave. I think once it got closer to the time of me leaving and I just was having a lot of, I guess you could say, successful moments with what I was doing, that kind of gave them the hint like, oh, I don't know if she'd be staying here at this job forever. But anywho, I ended up, again, that was the summer of 2017 that I had told my boyfriend that I want to be a lash artist. By spring of 2018, I ended up finding a school that I wanted to go to because I was ready to go ahead and make the moves, whatnot. And I ended up doing all the paperwork for the school, filling everything out. And when I was getting ready to go to the orientation with the lady, the director, she ends up telling me, if you don't commit to doing your second licensure, your master's program here at my school, then I cannot allow you to do your basic program. Which was a huge, just like, stab to my heart. Because again, I was already working this corporate job for 9 years. I was already having jitters and second guesses about trying to move into the aesthetics industry. And so once she told me that I couldn't go if I couldn't commit to my master's, that was like a huge obstacle that just had got put in front of me. Because at that point in time, I didn't know if I was gonna be able to do my master's program. First off, to complete your basics aesthetics program in 6 months, you had to go to school full time. If you wanted to do it in 9 months, an extended program, then you could go ahead and go to school part-time. So I thought to myself, am I gonna spend 9 months going to school, or I'm gonna spend 6 months going to school? So I was already planning to go to school full-time just because I wanted to get it done really quickly. And with me planning to go to school full-time, that would also be limiting the amount of time that I would work. So that would also be hindering my income. So it's like all these different factors that I had to think of. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm making a huge transition, leaving this job I'm so comfortable at, you know, making sure I have my ducks in a row, saving up money, whatever, so I could go ahead and go to school full time while only working on weekends and working, you know, after school basically at this point, because I want to get the program done fast. I couldn't commit at that point to going to the master's because I didn't know where I was going to be in life. I didn't know if I was going to be able to afford to go to school for master's, you know? So when the director ended up telling me, you cannot go, I mean, it was such a hard moment for me because I felt like at that point I didn't know if I was going to be able to go in the aesthetics industry. I was already telling everyone at my job that I was going to be leaving because I found this school and I was going there, and then have to go back and tell them, no, I'm not going. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going. Things didn't work out with the school. I mean, that was just so hard for me, you know? And I could have, at that point I could have given up and been like, I guess it's not going to work out for me. I'm not going to go to aesthetic school. But I stayed determined, I stayed diligent, I kept searching for another school, and I came about the one that I actually went to and completed my basics and my master's. And you know, looking back at it now, I'm happy for that obstacle that I had with that previous school. Because if I didn't have that obstacle with that previous school, I would have never ended up going to the one that I went to. And I love the school I went to. I mean, I've made so many relationships, made so many friends. I do truly believe everything in life happens for a reason and a purpose. So at this point, we're in about summer of 2018. I've found this new school that I'm going to, toured it, everything is great, everything works out for me. I started aesthetic school in September of 2018, complete my entire program, graduate with my aesthetics in my basic aesthetics in March of 2019. I then did go ahead and pursue my master's aesthetics, which I started April of 2019, and I just graduated with that in September of 2019, okay? So I am a recent graduate. But I want to talk to you guys a little bit about my school experience and how I was working when I was actually going to school full-time. So once I knew that I was going to be going to school for aesthetics, I had to leave the corporate job I was at. It was a full-time job. They didn't offer any type of like part-time positions, for example. So I had to look for another job. that would accommodate me going to school. And I'm so grateful that I was actually able to get a job with Kate Somerville, the skincare brand. If y'all are familiar, I ended up becoming a freelancer for them and freelance in Ulta selling their skincare, which was really great for me because it kind of let me dabble a little bit into the industry that I was moving into as far as talking to people about skincare and whatnot. So I really appreciate that job that I had. I actually ended up freelancing for Anastasia during that time as well. So I got a lot of good makeup experience as well while I was going to school for aesthetics. So I'm really grateful that I was able to find that job that was so flexible for me to do overnight and weekends while I was going in school. While I was in school. Now, to give y'all a little bit of detail about my school experience. Now, the whole experience of me going to school, oh my God, it was just so unforgettable. I loved every single moment of it. I will say my master's experience was definitely different than my basic experience, and I say that because there's a lot of people that don't do masters. So when I went to my master's program, I didn't have a lot of people that I did the basics program with that actually came to the master's program. It was only a select few. Honestly, I will say my biggest thing that I kind of disliked about my basic program, and the funny thing about it is that if any of the girls that went to my school watched this, they might not even know I felt this way, but I felt like in my basics program there was just like a lot of drama. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in my older 20s, but there is a lot of people that are straight out of high school, 18, 19, 20, and I'm not saying like your age always determines your maturity, but I'm basically just saying that there's a lot of different age groups, a lot of different personalities, and sometimes people kind of clash. So I feel like sometimes there was like a little bit of drama in my basic program, and I just really didn't like that. I'm not in high school. I've been out of high school for a long time. So that was just something with my school experience, which I wasn't crazy about. But I mean, that's normal. When you have a bunch of girls, come on, things are bound to happen. But other than that, the school experience was so great. I learned so many different things: waxing, lash lifting, tinting, massage techniques. Not even so much just the practical, but the theory that you learn of it. How much you learn about skin, the body as a whole, just so much valuable information that's helped me so much to know not only how to take care of my clients, but how to better take care of myself as well. So the basic experience was amazing. I would say the hardest part about it is the theory. Sometimes some of the theory can be difficult. You want to make sure you stay on top of that. Learning about the different histology of the skin layers, things like that. A lot of that can kind of be challenging, and you want to make sure you stay focused on that. I would say my state test, it was definitely difficult. You're definitely gonna have to study, but it wasn't too challenging. Not as challenging as the master's, okay? So as far as the master's program, I will definitely say that I loved my whole school experience, but that alone was something very, very special for me. I just loved my master's program. I just learned so many great techniques that I now use here at work. I can't even, I'm just so happy I did masters. When I was in the basics and learning all the things in the basics and how much I enjoyed it, and it's like when I went into the aesthetics industry, I never even knew I was gonna fall in love with it like I have, So when I started the basic program and I kind of just fell in love with it so much, and just skin and everything beauty related, that's what kind of pushed me to moving into the master's program as I did, which again, I have no regrets about. I'm extremely happy I did the master's program and got that certification. I will say that was definitely more challenging, and the reason being is because you get in such more depth when it comes to the body. You're learning anatomy, physiology, you're learning so much more, you're diving so much more deeper into the histology of the skin cells, just learning more about contraindications and things like that. Just the details of what you learn, oh my God, when the basic program was literally the tip of the iceberg, but I have so much knowledge because of the master program. I have clients tell me all the time, like, oh my God, you've only been doing this for like a year? I would have thought you've been in this industry for years with how much knowledge you have, and I take a lot of pride in that. I take a lot of pride in the school I went to, which was Dermal Science International Academy in Reston, Virginia. If you are in the DMV, I highly recommend that you go to that school. I like to think of it as being one of the top schools in the DMV area. I had such a great experience at that school. I love that school, okay? Love that school. I mean, my teachers I had, amazing, you know, they just were people that truly cared about not just getting your money, but truly about teaching you and making sure that the people that they put in the industry are good and knowledgeable and know what they're doing, you know? So I really, really appreciate that. But enough about the school, enough about my school experience. I want to talk a little bit about me working in the industry and how that is. So like I mentioned, in March of 2019, I graduated with my basics, and in July of 2019, June of 2019, I ended up getting my first job as an esthetician. And that's actually where I'm at right now. I'm at work right now. I'm in between clients, so I was like, let me make this video. But anywho, I started working here at the Style and Beauty Bar in June, July of 2019. And I've been working ever since. So I've been about July, August, September, October, November, December, 7 months. I've been actually working in the aesthetics industry now. And oh my God, it's been so rewarding. Like, when I tell y'all, I love what I do, okay? I love what I do very, very much. I have no regrets about any of the things that I've left in the past to pursue what I'm doing now. I'm very happy. Of course it has its ups and downs, you know, I'm gonna keep it straight up 100 with y'all. It has its ups and downs, which I'm gonna discuss with you guys. Now, I will say, when I first started my job, I didn't have a lot of clients. You know, there'd be days I come to work and I'd have no clients. So I will say that's one thing of, you know, when you first go into the aesthetics industry, you do have to remember that you're not always gonna have a full book of clients. It takes time to build up a book of clients. If you do work somewhere and they are so busy, they just have an overwhelming amount of clients that they can give you, so your book's filled up right away, that's awesome. But very commonly, when you first come into the industry, you're not gonna be booked and busy. It's gonna take a little bit of time for you to get booked and build a clientele. I will say probably about September, again, I started in July. Oh, also too, even when I started in July, I was only working on weekends because, mind you, I graduated in March of 2019, not March 2019, September 2019 with my master's aesthetics because I was going to school full time. So with the job I'm at now, I only worked it on weekends. So between July and September, I worked on weekends, and then as of September, that's when I actually went full time. So also with me only working on weekends, I mean, it is a little bit harder to build your book up, you know, only working on weekends. So when I did first come in on weekends, some weekends I would have like 1 client, 2 client, but not a lot. When I first started in September, I didn't have any clients at all that would come very often. I would have days that I would sit and have nobody. I might have like a few clients a week. And I would say about October, mid-October is when my book really started growing. And I was having 3 clients a day. Then I was having 4 clients a day. Then I was having 5. Now I'm at the point where I average between 4 to 6 clients a day, which is great because that's also a mix of facials and lashes, for example. So my days are pretty much busy all day, which is good. But just keep in mind, it is gonna take time to build your clientele. Don't expect to go out there and be booked and busy. Don't let you not being booked and busy right away discourage you or feel like you shouldn't have went into the industry that you're in. You need to, you know, just remember that it's gonna take time to grow and to build up that clientele. So that's one of the first recommendations that I would give to you. Also too, what I would say is that you need to be very patient. And the reason I say patient is because in the aesthetics industry, we're learning so many different things, and it can get kind of challenging when maybe you can't do something perfect right away or something's not turning out the way that you want it to be. But with practice and, you know, doing it over and over again, you'll get better. You know, things that you couldn't do before, you can do now. You know, things that used to take you longer, you'll be able to learn to be faster. So just be patient with yourself, be diligent, everything will come together, just give it time. Something else that can kind of be challenging when you first become an esthetician is, I don't even want to say when you first become an esthetician, just being an esthetician, period, is dealing with challenging clients, okay? Yes, there's clients that are amazing and, you know, it makes you love your job, but then you do also have challenging clients that are going to keep you on your toes, clients that are going to test you, test your knowledge, test your skill set, you know, and that can be very difficult. That was very much a learning process for myself, learning to deal with people like that, you know. So that's one thing I will say that can be very, very challenging. working in the aesthetics industry. I think something else that could be challenging being in the aesthetics industry is that it is a standard for us to work on Saturdays. Most estheticians work on Saturdays. It's very rare that you meet an esthetician that does not work on Saturdays. I mean, it's my busiest day of the week. My Saturdays are usually already booked up a month or two in advance. So that can be a drawback as well. If you're someone that loves to have weekends off, you more than likely might have to work Saturdays, maybe a few Saturdays a month when you first start off, for example, or maybe always through your journey of being an esthetician. So I would say, I find the biggest kind of cons of being an esthetician is, again, when you're first just trying to get certain skills down and certain things down, it can be just challenging, trying to stick it out and get through it and be patient. Also too, like I was mentioning, having the difficult clients, that's something else that I find as a con being an esthetician. And then the last thing I would say is working on Saturdays. It really doesn't bother me too much because I have off Mondays. I have off every Sunday and Monday, but that could be something that's challenging for people. That's just what I find challenging as an esthetician. There could definitely be other cons out there that other people that are estheticians might find, but for me personally, those are the biggest cons that I would say of being an esthetician. I would say the pros of being an esthetician is, for me, the biggest thing I love about being an esthetician is that I am able to be creative. I'm a very creative person. I love being creative, and I feel like being in the aesthetics industry, it gives me that freedom to be just that, I can be creative when it comes to the lash sets that I do. I can be creative when it comes to the skin regimens and the different facials that I give people, I can be creative when it comes to waxing brows and things like that. I just love the creative aspect of being an esthetician. What I also find very rewarding is the friendships that I've made, the connections that I've made, the networking. I mean, I love my industry. I love everything about it, every aspect of it. I love meeting new people. I love learning from new people. I've gained so many friends from my aesthetics program from when I went to school, and I feel so lucky to have them, because these are women that I can constantly, we have a group message and I can constantly kind of lean on them for advice. They can lean on me. I went to school with these ladies, so we can constantly kind of bounce ideas off each other and get advice from each other about certain things that we're dealing with now that we're in the industry. So the friends that I've been able to make and the connections I've been able to make have been so rewarding, and not even just with other people that are in the industry, but even with clients, Again, the reason that I wanted to become an esthetician is because I wanted to be hands-on. I wanted to help people feel more confident, and to me, that is such a rewarding feeling to know that someone feels more confident or feels more beautiful, and I played a part in that. I mean, that's so rewarding. And I just love it. I love my clients. I love the relationships that I've been able to build, the connections that I've been able to build. I love how I've been able to, be with them from the start of my job, when I started, working in the industry, to even now, and seeing different changes in their lives and seeing different changes in their skin, for example. I also very much love the freedom of my job. Everybody's job is very different. If you're working for like a chain or like more of like a corporate beauty company, then it could be different. But I love the freedom that I have. I can be so much, I'm a lot more flexible with what I can do in the job that I have. I can easily get time off if I want time off, because I really kind of make my own schedule. It's just so much more flexibility. Again, I worked a corporate job for so long, so it's just very different not having someone constantly on top of you and being able to kind of be not so much your own boss, but be able to do things your way to a certain extent, of course. So I love that freedom. And also too, as far as pay, very rewarding. Again, every state's gonna be different. Depending on where you work, it's gonna be different, but I mean, the money's great, okay? I can't even sit here and deny that. The money's awesome. Especially if you are able to get a job that gives you hourly plus commission. I don't want to go into too much detail about my pay and whatnot, but a lot of jobs, I don't want to say a lot, depends on where you work, but there is some jobs where you can get hourly pay. You can get commission for services and commission for products that you sell, both, so that's awesome, in addition to tips, okay? So I mean, the money potential is there, but also too, you gotta be on point and you gotta grind. You gotta, you know, build your book up, get clients in. You gotta, you know, not be pushy, but you know, sell to them, retail products. Make sure that you're staying on top of all your appointments and meeting your commission goals and things like that. Also, providing great service to your clients so that you can earn a tip, you know? All those factors can play great into you making some really good money as an esthetician, okay? Listen, you guys, all I can say is that aesthetics has been so rewarding for me. I just feel so happy, so lucky to be part of this industry. I have no regrets about it. I mean, I just love it. That's all I can say. I just love it. So I'm sorry, you guys, if I've been rambling on. I really just wanted to share my full journey with you guys, say everything that I want to say, try to cram it into this video. So I apologize if this video is kind of long. I hope I kind of touched on everything for you guys, answered any questions, was able to give you guys some good information on what it's like being an esthetician. If there's anything that maybe you're curious about that I did not go over, then definitely leave it in the comments below and I'll be more than happy to answer it for you guys. But if you are thinking about being an esthetician, I just want to wish you luck with your new journey, and I hope everything goes well, and definitely expect more aesthetic related videos from me coming in the future. I will also be filming a video on why I decided to be a lash artist, so definitely be on the lookout for that next. I will see you guys in my next video.